So today I'm going to show you guys some techniques that if you look at Tyler Spangler's work, you're going to see some things that he commonly does. So I'm going to show you how to do some of those things. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer, and on this layer I am going to make a selection. So we can see in Tyler Spangler's work he does some fills with gradients. Okay, so I'm making a selection and I want to do it on a new layer so that if I don't like it I can always delete that layer. So I am going to go to the gradient tool, and as you can see I went to the purple ones and the drop down menu, and I like that one, and all I'm just going to do is click and drag into it, and once you do that you're going to get this little little bar, so you can change like how the gradient transitions into each other. You can I just clicked and dragged off one point if maybe you want to get rid of a color. So I have this blue color and I have this pink color. If you click somewhere on the line you can make a new color. It's not working for me, whatever. We can change this. If you double click, you should be able to change the color. Okay, I'm gonna try it. Nope, it's still not letting me. Oh, there you go. I clicked somewhere in between and then I added one. Okay, so now I have a gradient, and it's selectable, it's movable. I can get rid of it. I can also duplicate it, Command J, and make another copy somewhere else. So this is how he does it. Notice that when I changed this, it changed my gradient. So you might want to, redo it, when you're moving these around. Okay, oh, and maybe I'd bring like, the transparency down and stuff like that, but I like this. Okay. The next thing I wanted to show you was I'm going to colorize a black and white image, which is something else that he does frequently. So I'm going to File, Place, Embedded, and I have a black and white image right here that I'm going to place. Okay, I'm going to do a smart selection because I only want her selected. Let's see how well it does. Okay, and it missed some stuff, so I am going to switch between the quick selection tool and I'm going to add to her face. I want her whole face, and it's missing a little bit of her shirt. Let me just check. Okay, this looks good to me. So now I'm going to select and mask. And yep, this is what I want. Maybe smooth a little bit, maybe feather a little bit. And I want to output to layer mask, and okay. That's cool. Let's try again. Okay, output to layer mask. Okay. Okay, that was weird. All right, so now I have her on her own layer. I might move her around a little bit later. I kind of like maybe she's hanging out like right here. Okay, so I'm going to colorize her face. Okay, so again, I'm going to make a new layer. And this is going to be, I'll bring her over here for a second. And I'm going to zoom into her face. And again, I want to make sure that I'm working on the new layer. And I'm just going to take the paintbrush and I'm going to do like a really vibrant color. And I'm going to make my paintbrush bigger with the right curly bracket. And I'm just going to give her some crazy eyeshadow. And I know it looks really bad right now, but after I put this in, I'm going to say multiply, and we can see that it kind of like fades into that, like it almost looks like the black and white picture was hand tinted. So I'm going to do that again over here. And again, I'm on the same layer. I can name this like color makeup. Just kind of add fun. You can do her like clothes, I'm going to change the color again, and I'm going to do like a really pretty pink, and I'm going to do her lips and color those in, and you can keep going with this idea. Okay, so something that he does is he does use vintage images, and he does colorize them. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to make a selection, and I want to show you you can fill it with color, or you can actually fill it with another texture. So I'm going to make a new layer, and I want this on top of the girl. And I'm going to go over to my elliptical marquee tool, and I want to try to create a perfect circle, and I want to select it from the center. So I'm going to hold down the Option Alt and Shift button, and I'm going to select and click and drag out till I'm happy with the size of this ball. And notice that I am on a new layer. I created a new layer. Okay, so at this point I could go to underneath the gradient tool. There's a paint bucket tool. I can pick a color and just say, and fill it in with a color. Okay, or I can fill it in with a really cool texture, which is another thing that Taylor Spangler does a lot. So I'm going to say File, I'm going to say File Open, and I'm going to find, I got like a water color texture. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to say Command A to select all, Command A, there you go, and Command C to copy. Feel like, there we go, it is Command C to copy, go back. Okay, now I want to paste it into the selection. I don't want to just hit paste, so I have to say edit, paste special. What do you want to do? I want to paste it into that circle. So there we go. Now because it's pasted inside, it created the mask for me, and if I click and drag, we can see that there's my texture, here's my mask. Okay, now it doesn't look like it's like in her hands, right? Like her hand needs to be over. I like that there is like the drop shadow already, because she is really holding a ball, but we want to make sure that her hand looks like it's over there. So I'm actually going to I'm going to select the ball layer, and I'm going to bring down the opacity, and I'm going to come over to her hand, and I'm going to bring down the opacity even more. Yeah, very good. And so we want to select the mask, and I'm going to use a paintbrush in black because I want to get rid of this so it's not showing all of this. So I'm just going to go over her fingers and her hand, and probably with the smaller brush first, and then I can get a little bit bigger to go back once I get all the details around her hand. Okay, I'm going to get a bigger brush, and I'm going to get rid of the texture. Okay. La la la. And I know I'm being really fast, but I don't want you to have to stay here forever. So I might have had it, Okay, let's Command 0 to see what we got here. And very good. And now I can come back to this opacity, and I can bring it up so it's a really vibrant color again. And we can see, now it looks like she's just holding this sphere. Okay, so I showed you how to fill a selection with a gradient, fill a selection with a color and a texture, how to colorize a black and white image. And the last thing I want to do is show you guys liquefy, which is very popular with Tyler Spangler. So I am going to File, Place Embedded, and I have a image of a hummingbird, if I can find it. There we go. Okay, and I want to make sure that the hummingbird is the size of I don't want to change the size after I mask it and I liquefy it. So I don't want to mask it yet, and I don't want to change the size once I liquefy. Otherwise the mask and the liquefy won't lock. They said it's something with the newest upgrade. It's supposed to, but it's not working. So I resized the hummingbird to the size that I want, and I'm going to hit return. And then I'm going to go up to, it's actually not over here, it's actually under filter, and then I'm going to go to liquefy. Okay, and then we get this new menu, and there's all these fun things. Okay, so I'm going to do forward warp, and I'm going to zoom in so we can see this while I work. And I can change the size of my brush as well. I might want to be a little bit smaller, but I can just click and drag So that's like very popular with some of this, you know, like that he's doing, Tyler Spangler's doing. Maybe something like this. Okay. Also, we have the reconstruct tool. So maybe you don't like what you just did. You can brush over it with the reconstruct tool, and it will put it back to where you were. We have the smooth tool too. Like if you and you're like, oh, I don't like that. Okay, and just do it a little bit. There's the twirl button. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. I'm just gonna do his wing and twirl his wing over here. Woo! Okay, and there's like the pinch, like you can pucker something. So maybe I'll pucker a little bit of his wing, and then there's the bloat. So maybe I want to bloat some. I think it's called bloat. Yeah, it's bloat. And then there's like this push to the left. I don't know. Yeah, and then there's like if you want to freeze the mask and stuff like that. So I think this is all the ones that I like. This is what I want to do. So I'm going to say okay. All right, now I'm going to mask this. So I'm going to get my object selection tool and select the mockingbird or the hummingbird. And then I'm going to say select and mask. All right, and then I'm going to output to layer mask and then okay. All right, so there's my hummingbird. I just wanted to show you that even though the mask and the hummingbird that you liquefied is, and you can move it around, but the weird thing is if you hit Command T to change the size of the hummingbird and I hit return, do you notice that like it got bigger inside the mask, but it's not aligned anymore? So that is just a bug with the most recent, I don't know, edition of, hopefully they fix that up soon. But now you've learned all those skills. And now let's move on to Chuck Anderson's kind of Photoshop techniques.